Hey, and welcome back. You know, you can feel the tension building. It's building around Jesus right now. He's made his way to the temple courts. He's teaching the people, and they're listening, and there's others listening, the religious leaders. And they're not liking what Jesus has been saying, and they don't like what he's saying now. And they are questioning him and his authority. And so we're going to look at that today, not just Jesus' authority, but our authority in life as well. So let's get into it. I want to welcome you to Go and Do. The Word of God today comes to us from the Gospel according to Matthew, and we're going to hear from the 21st chapter and the 23rd through the 27th verse. It says that when Jesus entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things, and what gave you this authority?" Jesus said to them, "I will ask you one question. If you tell me the answer, then I will also tell you by what authority I do these things." Here's the question. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it from human origin? The religious leaders argued amongst themselves. If we say from heaven, he will say to us, "Why then did you not believe him?" But if we say of human origin, we are afraid of the crowd, for all regard John as a prophet. So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And Jesus said to them, "Well, then neither will I tell you by what authority am I doing these things." Now hear this word also, my friends, from Matthew chapter 5, verses 23 and 24. It says, "So when you are offering your gift at the altar, if you remember that your brother or your sister has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go first and be reconciled to your brother or sister, and then return and offer your gift." You know, it's hard to be reconciled when tensions continue to increase like they are for Jesus here. The religious leaders didn't come seeking him to learn from him or to listen to his teaching or to take to heart what he is teaching them. They've come in conflict of him. They've come to question his authority. They've come to seek answers. I think they're more jealous of him than anything else and fearful that their ministry is in jeopardy. And so they've come to confront that. And that's usually what you need to do. If there's a problem, you need to go and face it. But the way they're facing it is not in a loving sort of way. Jesus teaches us in Matthew 5, he says, before you go to church, before you go make your offering, make sure you're not in conflict with someone. And that's really, really important for your life and for our lives as followers of Jesus Christ to practice that. See, the thing is, it's really hard to be reconciled to someone when they don't want to be. It's really hard to be reconciled when they are resistant to that. But what is really more so the problem is often we're not willing to be the one to step up and make that effort to be reconciled before that person, to find peace and find forgiveness. But you know, each of us has the authority to do it. And what a radical thing to do in a world and a society and in a time in history where we are tearing each other apart. We are separating from each other, but yet we can be the radical difference and reconcile one another. You know, in a time and space where this pandemic has brought a lot of families together, I've seen it tear a lot of families apart and a lot of relationships apart, because we're being told to stay away from each other. But yet Jesus tells us to be reconciled to one another. And you know, just like those religious leaders, they didn't know the answer to Jesus' question because they were fearful of this conflict or they were fearful of that conflict. So they just like, we don't know. Well, you know what? We know what to do. And we know the authority in which Jesus has given us to forgive. And he has given us that ability. So Jesus tells us to go and do. And I encourage you this day to go and do like Jesus. Be reconciled to one another. Don't hold a grudge with one another. You know, we all make mistakes. We're all human. We all fail in some way or another. But how is it together we can bring peace to that conflict? We do it by going and doing and being like Jesus. We'll see you again.